Looks like something big is coming for Goku Day. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We have the announcement for the upcoming May producer letter scheduled for May 4th at 7 p.m. PST. That'll be about 5 p.m. my time. And in this video, we're going to break down what we think we could see from this producer letter in terms of what it means for the rest of the May celebration. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So first and foremost, right, as we mentioned, the producer letter is scheduled for May the 4th. This will be at the tail end of the Golden Week celebration, which more or less confirms the things that I have been saying for quite some time since they announced this Xenoverse campaign. And that is that we are likely not going to be seeing a true Golden Week campaign. Now, whether this producer letter in the month of May produced 2 TURs or another LR, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts on what I think it's going to be here in a sec, but whether it gives that, the point is it's no longer going to be considered the Golden Week celebration, but rather the Sun Family celebration, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Again, I talked about before how Golden Week is more or less a Japanese holiday, and if they're really shifting into this being a global game, they will probably, right, not to say that they won't celebrate the holiday still, but they might center the celebrations around bigger days that everyone knows about, such as Goku Family Day. So with that said, right, the smart thing to do is whatever this Goku campaign is, I'm seeing it as the part 2 for the continuation of the Xenoverse campaign. While there is a lot of stuff leaving, there's also a lot of stuff that is staying beyond the beginning of the Goku Day campaign, which would of course begin on 5/8, which is Gohan Day, right, and continue on at least to the 14th. So I could definitely see it being tied into this. Now, of course, if they did do that, right, they would. The easy way to do that, the easy lift, is by introducing Future Gohan and Blue Goku as, right, it's one of the few instances of the Goku family interacting within the context of Xenoverse. So it would be really cool. I mean, so there's some other Heroes options, right? We do know that the Heroes Dokkan events returned, although I don't believe their EZAs returned. But that said, you know, there is that. So we're still unsure of where Dokkan is in the usage of Heroes units. So it could be related to Heroes, and they could do like the generational Kamehameha with Bardock, Goku, and Future Gohan, or they could do this, right? Or it could just be the Goku Day campaign, and then they just throw at us the card that Legends got, which was the Ultra Super Villain Goku Black, which is still technically a Goku, so could technically fit it in the Goku Day campaign. But I did find it odd that Legends got this as their brand new rarity, and yet he's not shown up in Dokkan at all. So possible he shows up here as well as the part 2. After all, this is a May producer letter, and typically for the Golden Week campaign, they don't do video producer letters. They've usually just done the announcement via like the written producer letter. In fact, the few times we did get the producer letter, it's been related to the part 2. Like when you think last year, right, we didn't get a producer letter for the initial part of the Hit and Kaioken Goku, but rather we did get a video producer letter for the announcement of Dokkan Day and the replacement of the part 2 LR as a Carnival LR, which was the LR Kale and Caulifla. So I could definitely see this being an announcement for a Kale and Caulifla, or a Kale and Caulifla style unit, I should say, like such as a Carnival or second Dokkan Fest LR for the celebration, as opposed to a standard dual Dokkan Fest TUR. But you know, we shall see what they decide to do. They're doing a lot of things differently this year than they normally do. So that's just that. Now, obviously, my bet is on continuing the Xenoverse campaign. But it's possible they do something else, and I did find it interesting that they chose to center around Buu Saga for this. Now, that could just be a red herring, as every year it's always something different for their theming of the Goku Day, even if it's not necessarily related to the campaign. Like last year, I think they used GT characters for it. Or no, it was End of Z. They used End of Z. And you know, so it's always kind of different. But the Buu Saga thing could just simply be marketing, right? Since, I mean, you really only have Buu Saga, GT, or Super to work from. So that could just be a marketing thing. But I did find it interesting that the official Dragon Ball Twitter also tweeted this out for the Son family holiday. A Majin Buu Saga, Goku, Angel Goku, and Gohan and Goten. And that got me thinking, what if they did decide to lean into the Majin Buu Saga? There's actually some really interesting things they could do here, right? If we are to focus on the Son family via Majin Buu Saga, there's technically not a lot to work with in terms of EZAs and ways they could buff that team. But when we start looking outside, kind of starting to think outside the box with how they could do this, there's actually some good stuff here, right? So if we actually center it around Buu Saga combined with the family Kamehameha, I could see them doing something a little like this, right? Where we have something like a family Kamehameha unit, right? Where one side is Gohan and Goten, and their active skill is the family Kamehameha. And the other side, like, so a tag unit, for example, so like a tag LR. One side is Gohan and Goten with the family Kamehameha, and the other side is the Goku, who goes Super Saiyan 3 and does the Dragon Fist, right? This would be a kind of cool way to combine the two without necessarily while doing something interesting that isn't necessarily something that's been redone before. While we have gotten Dragon Fist and we have gotten Family Kamehameha, this could be something interesting. Another idea I had is where they take the unit, same thing, and it is a tag LR, Gohan and Goten, and then Goku, but Goku instigates the family Kamehameha instead of the Gohan and Goten. That could be a cool LR as well, right? Dokkan original animation inspired by Goku as opposed to Gohan and Goten. Could be cool, and just another way to do it. And they could really lean into this too, right? Because one thing that's interesting, right, is that there's actually quite a bit they can work with if they go with this, right? Number one, right, super easy A's. These guys could potentially super easy A. Now, they did say DFEs mostly. However, I believe the statement of DFEs was specifically because of the statement, the fact that DFEs get Dokkan EZA battles as opposed to, right, EZA areas. These guys did get an EZA battle, which means technically they can add the extra stage to make them a super EZA event. So they could potentially super EZA these three guys to kind of build this celebration. And these three guys, you know, available for free via the Book of War, right? So there's, you know, there's a lot they could do there. They could also EZA this guy, right? And instead of centering him around, well, actually, he didn't have any conditions either for Android Cell Saga. So they could literally just EZA this guy, right? Have these guys have the new LR lead Goku's family or Kamehameha. And then now you've got this plus the Son family trio. You've got a full Kamehameha team right there. Like, that's some pretty good stuff you could do right there. Some other options to build out the Goku's family too, right? You want to incorporate the whole Goku's family. EZA the free-to-play AGL Bardock. Where is that dude? LR. This dude right here. EZA him. Now you've filled out the whole, you know, the whole team. There's a lot you can do. There's not a lot of standard TURs that we could EZA, right? DFE TURs that we could EZA that would fit this theme. Because I think pretty much until we start getting beyond year 3 EZAs, like, actually, you know what? Let me pull it up and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. All right, so we pulled up the super EZAs here with Misaka, right? So you can see here, right, there's still a few we're missing, super EZA wise from 2016 and 2017, None of them would really fit, right, a sort of big Son family theme. Maybe Dragon Fist Goku, but he's not on Kamehameha, so that wouldn't really fit my idea. He's just, Goku's family, right? When we start looking at, year 3, though, there is some potential in year 3. Future Gohan, maybe, but again, not Kamehameha. But, there isn't really... I mean, I guess, yeah, mostly Goku's, and then you have the one Gohan, right? It isn't until we get to 2019 that we start getting things to work with here for this theme. So the best way to go about that is obviously tackle these guys, right, to fill that out. It's just an idea. Who's to say what they're going to do? I mean, again, there's a lot of potential, but I do think they could potentially build out the super side of Majin Buu Saga, since the extreme side has been filled out. We've been filling out Vegeta's family all year long. We've gotten 2 Vegeta's family lead with the Daima Vegeta and now the super villain Vegeta. So it makes sense that to add on to Daima Goku, we get another Goku's family lead with whatever comes for this Goku, Gohan, and Goten. I think the likelihood is they continue the Xenoverse campaign and build off of that, but I think there's a possibility they could tackle some type of family Kamehameha situation, which could be potentially really fun if they handle it correctly. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, what would you like to see for this year's Goku, Gohan, and Goten Day? You think we're on to something here, or are you expecting to see something different? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.